happy to have you all here. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can dress up your fall die cuts with some distress sprays. I've been totally obsessed with sprays lately. I have a lot of them and I really want to just sit and play with them, so that's what I've been doing lately. So I can't wait to show you how you can really jazz up those fall die cuts with sprays. So I hope you all stick around to see how I bring the die cuts to life. Okay y'all, I've been having so much fun in my craft room this week, just playing with all kinds of Tim Holtz Distress Sprays. I'm totally obsessed with sprays and I've collected quite a few in my stash. For today's setup, I'm working on my glassboard studio mat with the Tim Holtz Media Surface Mat placed on top. The media mat is heat resistant, super easy to clean, and perfect for spraying techniques. At first I tried using microfiber cloth to hold the die cut so the sprays wouldn't splatter everywhere, but I didn't love how it looked on camera. I didn't like that brown mess there. So I just keep the microfiber nearby for quick cleanup instead, once I'm done spraying these branches. So I just started going to town, spraying the branches here. I am using distressed mica stains in fallen acorn and crooked broomstick. They give such a beautiful shimmer and perfect for autumn tones. Just going a little crazy there with the sprays. Like I said, I really didn't like how that brown was looking on the video. So I also recently grabbed the watercolor palette thanks to one of Kathy Zilski's links, and it's amazing for storing die cuts. I wanted to show off some of the ones I created earlier this week. You'll see them ready to go on my desk. So off to the right there in my boop dish and ghost dish, I've got plain die cuts that I'll be jazzing up today. I just wanted to show a fun way to color die cuts with sprays. So to create gorgeous fall vibes, I'll also be stepping it up with rock candy crystal clear glitter, adding just the right amount of sparkle to make these autumn die cuts shine. So I had to move the palette and a few things off to the side because of the sprays. They were kind of getting out of hand. And I probably should have gotten out my Tim Holtz SPLAT box for this, but oh well. And now it's time to color the fall leaves and the other fall elements. Oh, and I recently found some tins at Michael's that are perfect for organizing my Distress Spritz sprays. I'll see if I can find them on Amazon and link them down below for you. I love how they're allow me to keep everything in rainbow order. Okay, and just for fun, I tried using the microfiber cloth one more time. I don't know why I really wanted this microfiber cloth to work for spraying, but anyways, I tried it one more time when spraying the leaves, and yeah, that didn't work so well either. So from here on out, I'll be sticking with my trusty media mat for spraying projects. Anyways, here's a tip. Keep a pair of reverse tweezers handy when spraying your smaller die cuts, or any kind of die cut. They are perfect for holding pieces in place while you spray and for picking them up afterward without messing up your inky fingers. Just remember to wipe them off in between colors so you don't accidentally transfer spray to the next piece. Oh, and funny thing, y'all, I looked at my tools the other day and I realized I own 7 different pairs of tweezers. How many do you all own? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to have all the colors I'm using either on screen during the video or listed in the description box below. I also started bringing in a paper towel to help soak up some of the extra spray on the die cuts, which really helps them dry faster. And then I pulled out fossilized amber because I loved the golden glow it added to the leaves. Honestly, there are just so many different ways nowadays to add color to die cuts, and that's what makes this process so much fun. Okay, y'all, I just noticed that my hands look really dirty, but that's okay. They look so dirty right there, see? But that's okay, it's all part of the process. Getting inky is half the fun, right? I actually love it because it means I'm really in the zone and these leaves are turning out so beautifully. It sure is starting to feel like fall around here, at least in my craft room, and I'm so very ready for that cozy fall weather. The rich colors, the shimmer from the sprays, and the texture coming together on these die cuts just make me so happy. Putting together this wreath is going to be so fun with all these fall die cuts. I actually have enough here to make several cards, which is great. I'll be honest though, I was getting a little nervous about the colors I picked. I wasn't sure if they would all blend together nicely on the wreath, but now that I see them coming together, I think they actually turned out pretty great. Sometimes you just have to trust the process and let the colors do their thing. So here I'm just dabbing up the excess here with my paper towel, almost finished with the leaves, and then I'll be moving on to the pumpkins, gourds, stems, and all those fun little pieces. It's really coming together though, and I can't wait to see how the whole wreath looks once everything is layered in. I'm just setting everything off to the side now to finish air drying, and honestly it doesn't take long at all for these sprays to dry. That's one of the things I love about them. You can keep your project moving without having to wait forever. Y'all should have seen my desk this week, seriously. It was completely covered with spray bottles. I think I even have a picture somewhere because my husband snapped one of me while I was sitting here just playing away. And oh my goodness, there was so many bottles everywhere. I had mica stains, oxide sprays, spritz sprays, the whole rainbow was out. I should see if I can find a picture and show it to you in the video or something. Like I've said before, I'm totally obsessed with sprays right now. They are just so much fun because every time you use them, you get a slightly different look. Sometimes it's more intense, sometimes more subtle, and when you layer the colors, you can get the most gorgeous shimmery effects. It feels like opening a little surprise every time a die cut dries. And honestly, that's what makes it so fun for me. I love experimenting and seeing what happens. It's messy, it's inky, and my desk looks like chaos. So I didn't really like how those green leaves were looking at first, so I grabbed a few more green sprays, changed up the tones a little bit, and then sent them off to dry. Just that tiny adjustment made all the difference, and it reminded me how flexible sprays are. You can always keep layering until you love it. Okay, so for the pumpkins, I thought I would use Distress Mica Stain and Jack-o'-lantern. I mean, how perfect is that name for pumpkins? I even die cut a few extras just to have on hand because I was already in the mood to die cut and figured why not make more. Honestly, I just love die cutting. It's one of my favorite parts of the process. And the best part is I get to use my Anna Griffin Empress Mini die cutting machine. It's electric, so it makes die cutting so much faster, and I just adore that little machine. The plates have held up amazingly well too. I'm still using the same set that came with it when I first got it, which was over a year ago or something like that. No warping, no cracking, just going strong. So now I'm curious, can you see yourself coloring your die cuts this way with sprays? It's messy, it's fun, and every piece turns out a little bit different, which makes it all the more special. One of the reasons I keep reaching for my Spellbinders dies is because the detail on them is just amazing. Every little cut, every vein in a leaf, every curve on a pumpkin, it all comes through so clean and crisp. It makes the die cuts feel extra special, almost like little works of art on their own before you even add color. And the best part is the details really shine when you start playing with the sprays, inks, or embossing. Those little grooves and lines catch the color in different ways, so you get all this beautiful depth and texture without having to do a ton of extra work. That's honestly what makes Spellbinders dies such a joy to use. They do the hard part for you, and you just get to have fun decorating. I also love how versatile they are. You can keep things really simple with just one or two pieces, or you can go all out and layer a ton of different elements together to build these gorgeous dimensional cards. And because the details are so fine, even the smallest little die cuts look polished and professional. That's why I always say die cutting with Spellbinders is one of my favorite parts of crafting. It feels creative but also effortless. You just run it through the machine and out comes something beautiful that's ready to play with. So right now I'm just going through the process of spraying all these die cuts. It's kind of a rhythm I get into. Spray, check the color, dab up the excess, and then set them off to the side to dry. I'll give each one a good spritz or two, sometimes layering a second color if I want a little more depth. And then I grab my paper towel to blot away the extra. That really helps speed up the drying time, and it keeps the colors from pooling too much in one spot. Once I've got all the color where I want it, I just move them over to the side to finish air drying. It doesn't take long at all for the sprays to dry, which I love because it means I can keep the process moving. I've already got little piles of finished die cuts, the leaves, the branches, and now these pumpkins and gourds. It's honestly such a satisfying process watching that plain white cardstock transform right in front of me into these vibrant fall colors. Just makes me smile. And because the sprays are so unpredictable, each piece looks a little different. Some leaves come out darker, some lighter, some with more shimmer, some more matte. No two are exactly alike, which is what makes the wreath feel so organic when it's all put together. I'm almost done with the spraying now, and it feels so good, y'all, to see all the pieces coming together. I know it's a bit messy. My hands are all inky, my desk is full of bottles, and I've gone through a stack of paper towels. But it's that good kind of messy that comes with making something beautiful. Soon I'll be ready to start actually arranging everything and putting this wreath together. But right now, I'm just enjoying the process of bringing these die cuts to life, one spray at a time. Okay, y'all, so at this point, I thought, why not step up these die cuts even further? They already look beautiful with all the sprays and colors, but I wanted to give a few of them that extra sparkle. Y'all know I'm about that sparkle. So I'm not going to glitter every single piece, just a handful here and there to make the wreath pop a little more. For this, I pulled out my collage medium and my trusty jar of rock candy crystal clear glitter. Now I know Tim Holtz just came out with a brand new release of rock candy, and I've seen people raving about it, but I don't have the new version yet. That's okay though, because I've got this jar in my stash, and I'm all about using what I already have. I set myself up with a couple of paintbrushes, nothing fancy, just brushes I keep on hand for glue and mediums. The collage medium is what's going to make the glitter stick to these already colored die cuts. I just brush on a nice thin coat, enough to cover but not so much that it gets gloppy, and then sprinkle the rock candy right over the top. It's that simple, but it gives such a gorgeous finish. So to keep the mess under control, well, sort of keep it under control, I placed down a piece of paper towel to catch all the leftover glitter. That way I can just tap the extra back into the jar later after I'm done, so I don't waste anything. Because let's be honest, glitter gets everywhere, but at least this helps me wrangle it a little bit. And oh my goodness, y'all, wait till you see the glitter once it goes on top of the die cuts. This is just so fun. The sprays already made the die cuts beautiful, but when you add that shimmer of rock candy on top, it just takes them to another level. It's like they go from pretty to magical. The way the light catches on the crystals against those fall colors is just gorgeous. Honestly, I could sit here all day brushing on glue, sprinkling glitter, and watching them sparkle as they dry. Okay, so now that I've got the glue brushed onto the die cuts, it's time to bring out the rock candy crystal clear glitter. Say that 5 times fast, y'all. And honestly, it doesn't take much at all, just a little sprinkle, and these die cuts light right up. I've got my paper towel down, like I said earlier, to catch the extra, so I can tap it back into the jar, because this stuff is just too good to waste. So let me show you a few of these close up so you can see the glittery goodness. The pumpkin looks like it's glowing with that orange spray underneath, and the leaves, the way the veins catch the sparkle is just gorgeous. So subtle but adds so much. That's what I love. The sprays give me color, the glue holds it all together, and then the rock candy finishes everything off with that sugary shimmer. Each piece is unique, and they're going to look amazing once I start building the wreath. Okay, so it's time to start creating the card panel. For today's cardstock, I'm using Lawn Fawn's Vanilla Malt since I'm running low on my Spellbinders Color Wheel cardstock, which by the way is my absolute favorite. I definitely need to order more soon, but when I need cardstock fast, I can always grab Lawn Fawn's on Amazon, and it does the trick. By the way, in case I didn't mention the cardstock that I used for the die cuts, I did use Tim Holtz Distress Watercolor cardstock because I love it. It's bright white and does work wonders for when you're adding all the sprays and inks and whatnot. So I highly recommend Distress Watercolor cardstock for when you're adding all the color like that, all the sprays. For the panel, I'm pulling out my A2 Matting Basics A die set. This is such a staple in my craft room. I'm using the largest die in the set and placing it just at a slight angle before running it through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. This machine is hands down my favorite manual die cutter. It's solid, reliable, and gives me a perfect cut every single time. Honestly, it's one of those tools I can't imagine being without. So I ran that panel through my Platinum 6, and when I pulled it out, there was some little paper hairs or fuzz stuck to the cardstock. You know how sometimes the dies just leave those tiny clingy bits? I don't know what to call them. I tried brushing them away with my fingers. You'll see here in a second after I finish running it through. But most of it wouldn't budge. Okay, so here I am. See all those little specks there on the card panel? So I'm trying to swipe them away. That's when I grabbed my adhesive eraser. Honestly, it's such a handy little tool to keep in your caddy. It worked perfectly to pick up whatever was clinging to the cardstock and left the panel nice and clean. It's one of those small things that makes a big difference because there's nothing worse than finishing a die cut panel and realizing it looks messy. Next up, it's time for some embossing, because y'all know I love my Spellbinders embossing folders. I really wanted to add some texture to this panel, so I gave the cardstock just a light spritz of water first. This little trick helps soften the fibers so the cardstock doesn't crack when it's embossed. For today's panel, I'm using the Oak Forest 3D embossing folder. Since it's a 3D folder, make sure you follow the right sandwich instructions for your machine. They are a little different than standard folders, but it's worth it because the detail is incredible. And oh my goodness, just look at these fall details, y'all. The branches, the leaves, the texture, it all comes through so beautifully. It really sets the perfect backdrop for the colorful die cuts I've been working on. Now I'm running the embossing folder through the machine, and y'all wait till you see this. This is why I love Spellbinders folders. The detail is amazing, so crisp and textured. It makes the panel look instantly polished and so perfect for fall. Check this out. Getting ready to take it out of the folder here. And voila, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's splatter time, y'all. I wasn't sure if this made sense, but I wanted some splatter because I like splatter. It's fun. So I grabbed my Tim Holtz Splat box and my fossilized amber, and I just wanted to do a little spritzing. So that's all I'm doing is just a little spritz, a nice golden touch to the background. Does that look good? I think it looks good. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and leave it because, well, I think it looks good. Okay, we're going to leave it. It's finally time to start assembling the wreath. So now I got my card panel out here, and just look at all those beautiful die cuts to the right there I created. They look so pretty sitting in that little tray. I'll have that tray linked down below because it's such a little handy organizer to have. And I'm just so in love with all the little die cuts I made. I'm so attached to them. I could sit there and stare at them all day. Anyways, I'm starting the wreath by building a circle with the branches. This card is going to be a little different from the one I showed at the beginning, because why not change it up? This time I'm doubling up on the branches to give the wreath a fuller look, and I want the sentiment to sit right in the middle, so I'm actually using the sentiment pieces as a guide while I place the branches around in a circle. For my glue, I'm using my go-to Barely Art glue in the fine line bottle from Spellbinders. It's perfect for getting into all those little spots. And of course, I've got my Spellbinders reverse tweezers out again to help hold the branches while I glue them down. Honestly, where would we be without our reverse tweezers? Seriously, they are such a game changer for working with tiny die cuts. This wreath is just so fun to put together. I'm really enjoying seeing it come to life, piece by piece. I was going back and forth trying to decide which color cardstock I wanted to use for the sentiment, but I think the ones I picked work perfectly for today, I think. Sometimes you just have to trust your eye and go with it. For the gold cardstock, I used the gold matte from the Treasured cardstock line, and then the shadow, the layer underneath, I sprayed that down with either Crooked Broomstick or Fallen Acorn. I can't remember which Distress Mica Stain spray I used, but I sprayed the cardstock with that to achieve that color. As I keep building out the wreath, I'm just adding in more of the branches around the circle to make it look fuller. I'm not layering them in different directions. I'm keeping them going the same way, but by building them up, it really helps give the wreath more presence. The extra branches make it stand out more against the embossed background and give it that nice full look. It's such an easy way to add dimension without having to overthink it. Just keep building on the circle until it feels balanced and complete. Now I'm going to start placing all those fall die cuts I created earlier onto the wreath. And I'll be honest with y'all, I'm kind of nervous here. I wasn't sure if these colors would all go together or if this was really going to look good, but I decided I just need to go with it and trust the process. Right now, I'm adding the die cuts mostly to the left side of the wreath because I still want the branches to show through on the other side. I worked so hard layering those branches and I love that detail, so I didn't want to completely cover it up. Instead, I'm clustering the pumpkins, leaves, and the little accents on one side so it feels balanced but still lets the wreath breathe. Is this looking okay, y'all? Because honestly, this is where my anxiety kicks in. I start second guessing everything. Are the colors clashing? Do I have too much in one spot? Should I move things around again? It's that overthinking loop I get stuck in sometimes, but I keep reminding myself it doesn't have to be perfect. Handmade cards are supposed to be fun and unique, and honestly, half the time, things come together better than I imagine once I see them finished. So even though I'm sitting here worrying if this looks good enough, I'm also kind of excited because once the pieces are glued down and the sentiments goes in the center, I think it's all going to come together beautifully. You know what, y'all? I think this is actually looking really great. Why do I keep questioning myself? It's just, I don't know. I think it's coming together just fine. I should just stop worrying. Can you all see that shimmer though from the mica stains and the sparkle from the rock candy glitter? It's just catching the light so beautifully. I really hope the camera is picking it up. It looks really beautiful in person. Honestly, it was so worth spending all that extra time stepping up those die cuts with that glitter and the sprays. Every little leaf and pumpkin looks like it has its own personality now, and together they are really making the wreath shine. I think sometimes I just get in my head too much. I worry that the colors don't work or that I'm not placing things right, when in reality it's all coming together just fine. That shimmer, that texture, that bit of sparkle, it's exactly what I wanted for this card. And honestly, y'all, I think I'm worrying here for nothing. When I step back and look at the whole wreath, it just feels so warm and festive. The branches give it structure, the die cuts bring in the color, and the rock candy gives it that little extra magic. It's a good reminder that sometimes we spend all this time second guessing ourselves, but once everything is layered together, it all makes sense. So yes, it took a while to get the leaves placed and to add the extra glitter, but I love how it turned out. And it really makes me happy to see all that shimmer sparkling back at me. Sometimes it's those little details that make a project feel finished, and this wreath definitely feels like it's worth all the effort I put in. I'm almost done building out this wreath now, and it's really starting to come together. At this point, I'm just tucking in the last few pieces, a pumpkin here, a leaf there, filling in little gaps so the wreath feels nice and full, at least on the left side there. It's kind of like arranging a real wreath. You just keep building it until it looks balanced and everything has its place. All those sprays and glitter details I added earlier are really paying off. Each leaf has its own personality, and the mix of colors make the whole thing feel alive. I love how no two die cuts look exactly the same. Some have more shimmer, some have deeper color, some are lighter, and together they create this beautiful textured look. I'll be honest, I still catch myself second guessing a little. Like, should I put another leaf here or another pumpkin there or a gourd there? Is there too much orange on this side? But I've learned to just trust the process. Once everything is layered together, it always comes together better than I expect. And now that I'm almost finished, I can see how worth it all that time and detail really was. The wreath feels full, dimensional, and ready to shine as the centerpiece of the card. Just a couple more pieces to glue down, and then I'll be moving on to the sentiment to pull it all together. Okay, so I'm almost finished with this card project, and now it's time to add the sentiment, y'all. I'm going to pop it right in the center of the wreath, and honestly, the autumn greeting sentiment looks perfect there. It ties everything together so nicely. I think I was worried for nothing, y'all. And can we just take a moment to appreciate how handy those reverse tweezers are once again? Seriously, they make placing something like this so much easier. I can hold the sentiment steady, get it lined up just right, and then press it down without my fingers getting in the way. Definitely one of my most used tools at the craft desk. Now that this card is finished, I'm looking over at the little pile of leftover die cuts and thinking I've got to figure out something fun to do with them, y'all. I definitely cut more leaves and pumpkins than I needed. But honestly, I kind of love that because it means I'm already halfway prepped for another project. Maybe I'll make a second card with a different layout or even put together a cute little fall tag. Tags are great because they use up those extra bits and still feel like a finished project. Either way, I don't want these pretty pieces to just sit in a drawer. They are too good not to use. That's one of the perks of die cutting extras. You always end up with a little stash to play with later. And sometimes those leftovers end up inspiring a whole new card. Alright y'all, that's going to wrap up this card project today, and look how pretty this turned out. I'm so glad I pushed through all that second guessing because this wreath came together beautifully. Between the sprays, the shimmer, the rock candy glitter, and that oak forest embossing in the background, it just feels so warm and fallish. The autumn greeting sentiment in the center really pulls it all together too. I couldn't be happier with how it finished up. And yes, I've got those little piles of die cuts over there sitting in my tray. I swear I will do something with them. I just can't stop looking at them. They are just so pretty. So I'm just getting out my tape runner here, my Spellbinders tape runner, adding the tape to the back of the card panel. And this is an A2 top folded note card. The note card is made out of Hammermill cardstock. That's my go-to. So just placing it onto the card. And so I will give you a final look. And I'll hold it up so you can see all the sparkle and the detail. Because there's a lot of sparkle here. The sprays just added so much depth to those leaves, y'all. And that little bit of rock candy glitter just makes them shine. I think this might be one of my favorite fall wreath cards I've made so far. Check this out. See how pretty that turned out? And if you enjoyed hanging out with me, please remember to do all the YouTube things. I really appreciate you watching. So thank you all very much for sticking around to the end.